Washington's clear thinking headquarters. The Morning Majority, 5 to 9 on 630 WMAL.
7:07 on WMAL. Good Thursday morning to you. It's Brian Neiman along with Mary Catherine Ham from the Daily Caller. Pleased to be joined now by Alan West, Republican member of Congress in Florida. Also a military veteran in Iraq. He served Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army. Congressman, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing very well, Brian and Mary Catherine. We had a pretty late night. We didn't wrap up till 2:30 last night doing the National Defense Authorization Act, and but being a good paratrooper, I still got up about 5:30 and put in a 5-mile run, and now I'm talking to you guys.
Time out a second. You didn't. What time did you actually get to bed last night?
A little after 3.
Okay, after 3, and you've already run 5 miles this morning?
Well, you know something. You know, when you think about the men and women who are overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan out there, you know, pulling 24, 36-hour patrols, 2 hours of sleep and getting right back up, that's no big deal.
See, and normally, like earlier in the show, I admitted that yesterday I was going to go for a run, and I had been up all night, and I didn't do it. And now, appropriately, as usual, Alan West and our good women and men serving overseas make me look bad.
Yeah, so. Well, it makes everybody look bad.
Well, you know what? There's always tomorrow, Mary.
There's always today, in fact.
I know. I was looking for what time am I going to take my nap this afternoon? Thanks, Congressman, for that. I appreciate that. So I wanted to start off though with Bin Laden, finding him and killing him. Just first of all, the mission itself and how it went off. Your thoughts on how it all went down?
Well, I think that you have to understand that we have the most capable, competent, professional, well-trained special operations forces in the world. Between our Delta, our Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Force Recon, Air Force Special Operations. So for them to have done a cross-border, zero illumination, behind enemy lines, commando raid, flawlessly executed, even though they had the mishap with the Black Hawk helicopter, it's just phenomenal. So, hats off to the Navy SEALs and to the military professionals over there who planned that operation, also the intelligence professionals who built that plan with the pieces of information they pulled together. So it was absolutely incredible.
All right, a lot of controversy on the photos not being released, and there are a lot of conservatives who say, you know what, it's probably the best thing to do not to show these photos. Where do you stand on releasing the photos of the dead Osama bin Laden?
Well, what I would have done is, within 24 hours of the execution of that raid, I would have released the photos after I had my initial speech, as you saw what the president did late Sunday night. Because I think in that part of the world, I harken back to when I was in Iraq in 2003, and we showed the photos of Uday and Qusay Hussein. And in that part of the world, it's very important to put to rest any possible rumors, innuendo, and they have to see things by sight, and because most people in the outback, they don't understand what DNA means or whatever.
Right.
So I would have done that very early on, like I say, within the first 24 hours. Now it's OBE, overcome by events. I mean, Al Qaeda has even come out and said that Osama bin Laden is dead, and if you look, pay attention to some of the jihadist websites, they're accepting that. The most important thing we've got to be concerned about right now are the retaliatory attacks and the reprisals, because they have to show that they're still relevant. They have to show that they're still viable.
All right. When it comes to Afghanistan, there's this, starting to come out that, all right, well, we took care of what we needed to take care of in Afghanistan. There's no more training camps essentially there. It's one of the reasons why we went in 2001. We've gotten bin Laden. Is it time to essentially declare victory and pull most of our forces out of Afghanistan?
Well, too early to declare victory, because I think that killing Osama bin Laden has nothing to do with the Taliban, with that movement. And remember, it was the Taliban who came in. They established themselves in Afghanistan, and they brought in Al Qaeda and provided them sanctuary and safe haven. So I think one of the most important things is that we got to crush the Taliban in this campaign season, and I think there's a momentum that we need to keep up, and we need to go after Mullah Omar, who is, their spiritual leader that, most of us do know that he's found his little sanctuary over in Quetta. The 2.5 years I spent down in southern Afghanistan in Kandahar, I recognized that was, probably where he was hiding out. We got to get away from this nation-building occupation-style warfare and use our strategic and operational mobility to go after this enemy and deny him sanctuary wherever he tries to establish himself. So I think that, we could probably draw down our forces, get ourselves a little bit leaner, but be even more focused on, strike operations.
Colonel West, it's great to talk to you. This is Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
I always tell people that I met you back in the Vets for Freedom Day. I'm like an indie music fan for Alan West. I'm like, oh, before Alan West was cool, I knew Alan West.
No, I remember. Yeah. Back in 2008.
It really improves my cred. But I wanted to ask you about a domestic issue with healthcare.
Yeah.
A vote that had some Tea Party folks scratching their heads, which was you voted against a bill in the House that would have repealed part of some funding for school health centers in the House. And your spokesman seemed to say that, well, a lot of these are symbolic votes. They're not going anywhere in the Senate. What happened with that vote, and what's your position on the repeal of Obamacare moving forward?
Well, come on, Mayor Catherine, let's be very honest with everyone here. I voted to repeal it. I voted to defund it. And the day prior, I voted against the state-based health care exchanges because that's just an extension of the bureaucracy of the federal government. But when I sat down, and I think, one of the things that people said, they wanted legislators to come to Washington, D.C. and read legislation and do research and understand, and that's exactly what I did. So $100 million over a 10-year period to go after, the construction of school-based health care centers, that's not a priority to me, and I think that we could have done a different type of focus. Look, there's $3 billion that we're sending to Pakistan we need to be questioning. There's billions of dollars that we send to the Palestinian Authority, and Fatah and Hamas have just signed a reconciliatory pact. Back about, I think, late February, early March, the GAO came out with a report that there was $200 billion of duplicative programs in Washington, D.C., and no one has done anything about that. And if people don't think that I'm serious about cutting spending in Washington, D.C., show me another freshman that within the first 90 days of them being here, they had a wasteful program like I found in the DOD, which ended up being $180 million over 5 years, and it passed 393 to 0. So I'm not concerned about people that get their little fancy tickled over something that I did a good due diligence on, and I think my vote was very correct.
You brought up the Pakistan aid, $20 billion essentially since 2011, since the attacks, I guess. It's obviously, has it been money well spent, or are we just wasting money, giving money to the government?
Brian, it is not money well spent. The 2.5 years that I spent in Afghanistan, and the soldiers and sailors and airmen Marines that are there right now, they will tell you that the Taliban is coming out of Pakistan. The money that we have spent are not going to defeat that enemy. In the same week in which we killed Osama bin Laden, the president of Pakistan sent a letter to President Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan asking him to enter into a long-term security pact with Pakistan and China, and not with the United States of America. So I think if we continue to have ourselves being played by folks that are not being upfront with us, because this whole thing about Osama bin Laden's location, it's either ignorance, incompetence, or complicity, and none of those three are good. And so why should we be funding them? And we should not be afraid of Pakistan. Everyone keeps bringing up the fact that they have a nuclear capability. If we continue to show ourselves as being afraid and showing fear, that's a sign of weakness in that part of the world. So we've got to stand up on principle, stand up